Good morning, Julie Bennett. Thanks for joining us here at Yellow Shelf.
Thank you so much for having me. What an exciting opportunity.
Look, it's our pleasure. Julie, you are the author of a new book, The Lost Letters of Rose Carey. I want you to tell us all about it. What do we need to know about this book of yours?
So, The Lost Letters of Rose Carey is what I like to call a mystery history. So, it's telling the story in two time frames, present day and 1923. And it's about an Australian movie star in the times of the 1920s. So, silent movie star, she's a big deal. And what happens is that in modern day, Emma Quinn, who's a videographer, finds this box of memorabilia that relates to Rose Carey while she's filming a documentary in the fabulous Carrington Hotel in the Blue Mountains.
Oh, yeah,
Carrington, yeah,
I know.
yeah, the Carrington is an actual historic hotel
Yeah.
in Katoomba, and it's just fabulous. So if anyone ever gets the opportunity to visit, they really,
Yeah.
really should.
Yes.
Anyway, Emma finds this box of memorabilia relating to Rose, and she starts going through it, and there's a whole lot of different things in it. So there's old newspaper clippings, and there's film reels from the 1920s, and there's postcards and photographs, and um, an old camera, and of course a stack of letters. So the box of stuff is going to be thrown out, and so Emma rescues it from going to landfill and takes it home with her. And throughout the novel, she goes through and reads these letters, which are sort of wrapped up in a lovely blue satin ribbon. And she gradually she understands through these letters that something terrible has gone on, and the letters are kind of begging forgiveness for it. So that's the kind of mystery and history of,
Yeah.
but of course, because it's dual narrative, it's also told by Rose, so in 1923. And as we progress through the novel, what we understand is that Rose, as well as facing quite difficult financial situation, she doesn't understand why really, because she's a superstar. It also seems as though somebody's out to get her because she has these series of accidents. So
Okay.
that's the two sort of timelines, and they're connected by these letters that Emma starts to read slowly, throughout the book. And the letter reading by Emma is sort of a salve because she's going through IVF with her wife, and it's not successful. So her relationship is sort of fractured under the stress of that. And she uses those letters to sort of provide a comfort and an escape, if you like, throughout the novel.
Yeah. And Julie, what inspired you to write this mystery romance set in the 1920s? I'd love to, if you'd share a bit about your background or what inspired you to write this particular novel.
So this is my second novel. My first novel was The Understudy, and The Understudy was a book about a performer who had to step up into the leading lady role at the opening of the Sydney Opera House.
Mm.
And so it's set in 1973 and 1953. So the leading lady has gone missing, and Sophie steps up and has to take her place. But again, we don't know what's happened to the leading lady. So it's sort of a story about what's gone on behind the scenes that's led to this situation. And that was a book about a performing artist. And what I wanted to do this time around was still to write about a performing artist, but also in a little bit of a different art form. So that the first book was about an opera singer, and this book is about a movie star. And so I thought, I was looking around for what kind of performing artists could I do that wasn't sort of a little bit too similar. And I thought film was just begging to be to be written, especially as Australian women were actually quite involved in film in the early days, in the very early days, the late 1890s and early 1900s. So I just investigated who was doing what, and found
Yeah.
some really exciting and interesting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And Julie, I read about you. You originally a journalist and in the
Yes.
PR world. So
Yes.
what about you in that space as far as, yeah, transitioning to becoming an author?
So, you know, I worked in libraries when I first left school, and I really loved it. And I worked there for a really long time, or, you know, about 8 or 9 years, or maybe even 10. And I loved books. You always loved books. And so it was a great fit for me. But then I realized at some point that if I wanted to, you know, have a career in libraries, I'd have to become a librarian. And I'd always thought that what I wanted most in the world was to write for a living. So I thought if I have to go to uni, I really should honor that promise to myself, you know, and try and write for a living. And so I enrolled in a Bachelor of Arts and specialized in media and journalism, and I absolutely loved it. Then when I graduated, I got a job in financial services, doing a video training video. And then I sort of graduated on and worked as a finance journalist for a while. And then after a time, similar sort of thing, you know, you go, well, yes, this is earning a living as a journalist, which is by writing, which is what I really wanted to do. But, you know, time and family and stuff gets in the way. And eventually I morphed into PR, which I've run my business for about 20 years now, specializing mostly in finance. And then one day something terrible happened to me. I woke up and discovered I was in my 50s, and I hadn't written my book, which I'd always promised myself, you know. I always thought of myself as a novelist, and I thought, well, you're just full of rubbish, girl, because you don't see a single book.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm going to give it a red hot go. I knew it was really difficult, and I knew that I'd have to try really hard, but I thought, let's give it the reddest, hottest go that you possibly can. And I think this was the really important bit. Give myself permission not to get that goal.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes you pursue a goal against, you know, in spite of everything, and everything is a lot. So I think giving myself permission to say, yes, really go for it. But if you don't get it after you've honestly tried really hard, please just let it go. It's okay, you know. So that's what I did, but I made it. Yay.
Look, what great advice, but also what an inspiring story, just to give it a good red hot crack and, you know, put it out there to the universe.
Yeah,
So,
just
Julie,
try.
what's the best way to connect with you in the book? You know, you have a website, Instagram. How are we getting curious about Julie in the book?
So I have a website. It's just juliebennetauthor.com.au. I also have a couple of pages on the Simon & Schuster website, because that's who publishes me. And I have Instagram, and it's again all Julie Bennett Author is the handle. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, and TikTok. But I'm still practicing my dance moves for TikTok.
Yay! Look, I'll put all that in the show notes to make it really easy
so
anyway.
much.
Julie, is there a third book?
Funny you should ask. There is a third book. I'm currently researching the third book, and I'm not allowed to talk about it too much.
That's fine.
But I will tell you a couple of secrets just between you, me, and all your subscribers. It's not going to be set in New South Wales this time. It'll be set in Victoria, and it will be set in a period of time that I just adore, and that's the 1960s.
Well, look, thank you for sharing. That's just a very good little taster for us.
Thank you.
I guess my ask is, because when the next book comes out, will you come back and share with us?
Oh, I'd absolutely love to. Thank you so much. I'd love to.
Awesome. Julie, well, good luck with the book.
Thank you.
And we will wait for the next one as well.
Great. Awesome. Thanks so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Bye.